Imagine the following scene. You are at a party, surrounded by friends, and suddenly, the attention of all the women in the room turns to one man. He's not the prettiest, nor the richest, but there's something about him that simply attracts. He doesn't have to try hard to impress anyone, and yet everyone seems to want to be around him. You start to wonder, what does he have that I don't have? Now, think about how many times you've found yourself in this situation. You tried to be the nice guy, you tried to please, but in the end, you always seem to be the friend who never goes beyond friendship. No matter how hard you try, something isn't working. You wonder what you're doing wrong, where you're going wrong. The pain you feel inside is real. The frustration of trying to be the right guy, doing everything right, and still not being chosen. It eats away, and you start to feel like maybe you're not the kind of man she wants. Maybe you've heard from a friend, you're great, man, but you need to be more yourself. And then the question arises, but how can I be myself if I don't even know what I'm doing wrong anymore? What if I told you that everything you think about what attracts women could be wrong, and that you are actually sabotaging your own chances by trying too hard to please and adapt to what you think she wants? There is a way to turn the tide. The secret is understanding the deeper principles of attraction, and I'll show you how it can be done. I'm not talking about tricks or ready-made phrases. I'm talking about something that is directly linked to what high-value men do differently. Men who, unlike you, know how to balance distance and presence, who create intrigue and desire, but above all, who know when and how to impose themselves. And the best part, I'm going to tell you what phrase you can use that, instead of just following a script, will trigger an emotional reaction in her. A simple phrase, but one that will transform the way she sees you. And believe me, it's not what you think it is. It's not just about being bold or risking everything. It's about understanding female psychology and using it to your advantage. If you really want to stop being that guy who is always in the friend zone, and finally become the man everyone wants, you need to understand that this game requires more than just looks or likability. You need emotional intelligence and courage to show yourself as you really are, with confidence. I will guide you along this path, and I promise, you will never be seen the same way again. Let's move on to today's topic. But first, check if you're already subscribed to this channel, because here I'm going to bring a series of videos like this, which will teach you how to win over high-value women and understand what they really look for in a man, as well as sharing powerful principles of Stoicism that transform the way you relate and communicate with the opposite sex. Shall we start? The power of unpredictability, the mystery that attracts and captivates. Imagine a man who always acts the same way, with absolute predictability. He responds immediately to all messages, never fails to stick to the same routine, and is always available. Now, think about how quickly that can lose its charm. Unpredictability, on the other hand, breaks this pattern. It is what activates curiosity, instigates interest, and maintains the focus of attention. High-value men understand that being predictable is not synonymous with reliability, but with monotony. By introducing strategic doses of uncertainty, they create an emotional experience that holds any woman's attention. Unpredictability is not about playing games or manipulating, but rather adding layers of mystery and spontaneity. In practice, this may mean varying the tone of interactions, alternating between moments of high presence and others of distance, and avoiding obvious behavior. For example, instead of responding immediately to a message, a man who values his independence may prioritize his own tasks before resuming the conversation. This pause not only creates expectation, but demonstrates that he has a rich life outside of that interaction. Stoicism, a philosophy that inspires balance and emotional control, teaches a powerful lesson here. Self-mastery is the foundation for any successful relationship. Seneca, one of the greats of this school of thought, said that we should be masters of our desires, not slaves to them. Applying this to the context of attraction, high-value men understand that being completely available is often a sign of emotional dependence. Unpredictability, when used well, demonstrates self-sufficiency and balance. Consider the psychological impact of not knowing what to expect. Studies in psychology show that the human brain is strongly attracted to uncertainty. When everything is predictable, interest decreases. Think of a movie where you already know the ending before you've even reached the halfway point. You lose the desire to watch. Likewise, relationships that lack nuance or surprises can become boring quickly. However, it is essential to balance this approach. Being unpredictable is not the same as being inconsistent or inaccessible. Mystery must coexist with moments of genuine presence. It is the tension between what is revealed and what remains hidden that creates the fascination. When a man is healthily unpredictable, he becomes an enigma worth deciphering. For women, this combination is intriguing. Unpredictability awakens a natural instinct to discover more. This creates a dynamic where interest is continually renewed, like a flame that never goes out. Furthermore, by avoiding obvious behavior, men ensure that each interaction has a unique emotional value, leaving a lasting mark. This balance of mystery and presence is what differentiates an ordinary man from someone memorable. It's not about creating intentional difficulty, but about living a full and meaningful life, where the attention given to others is a reflection of a conscious choice rather than a desperate need. After all, a life lived with purpose is, in itself, the greatest attraction anyone can offer. The power of distance, building connections across space. Strategic absence, when used wisely, is a powerful tool in building deep emotional bonds. In a world where constant availability has become the norm, the ability to create moments of intentional withdrawal highlights high-value men as enigmatic and inspiring figures. This behavior, often underestimated, challenges the idea that uninterrupted proximity is synonymous with connection. By creating space, a man not only reinforces his independence, but also offers a woman the opportunity to feel longing, a crucial element in strengthening emotional bonds. Absence, far from being a gesture of neglect, is a demonstration of mutual respect, allowing both sides to value interactions in a deeper and more meaningful way. After all, time dedicated to oneself is essential so that each person can present themselves more authentically in the relationship. This concept aligns with Stoic thinking, which values the balance between presence and absence. Seneca, for example, defended the importance of periods of solitude to reflect on life and prioritize personal growth. He believed that we can only offer our best to others when we are in harmony with ourselves. This philosophy continues to be relevant today, especially in attraction and relationship dynamics. Maintaining independence does not mean neglecting the other person, but rather preserving an individual sense of purpose. When a man pursues his own goals, he becomes more inspiring and admirable. This type of attitude conveys strength and self-sufficiency, characteristics that are often magnetically attractive. Furthermore, by not allowing the relationship to become suffocating, both sides find a healthy space to develop. In addition to physical distance, controlled emotional distance plays an important role. Knowing how to listen and understand the right moment to approach or move away emotionally is a skill that requires sensitivity and perception. This balance avoids excess intensity that can lead to burnout, while keeping mutual interest alive and vibrant. When space is used consciously, it also becomes a way to demonstrate confidence. It's an act of faith in the strength of the bond, a silent declaration that constant control is not necessary to maintain the connection. This provides a sense of freedom that is often associated with emotional maturity, something deeply valued in a high-value man. Thus, the strategic use of distance is not only a tool to create longing, but also a catalyst for healthier and longer-lasting relationships. It allows people to see beyond the superficial and recognize the depth of a bond that is cultivated with intention and purpose. In this way, men who master this art not only attract, but also leave a lasting impression, becoming unforgettable in the lives of the women who have the privilege of meeting them. Deep attraction, the power of emotional connections over physical appearance when it comes to building a bond that transcends the superficial. High-value men understand that the essence of a connection lies in the emotions that are shared, not just the outward appearance. While aesthetics may capture initial attention, it's the ability to create meaningful emotional experiences that truly leaves a lasting mark. Emotional connections are founded on a genuine understanding of the other person. This requires full presence at important moments, the ability to actively listen, and the willingness to show vulnerability when appropriate. It is in this emotional space that the man demonstrates not just interest, but a deep respect for the woman's feelings and perspectives. This authentic exchange strengthens bonds and establishes a level of intimacy that no physical appearance can offer. Historically, thinkers such as Epictetus have emphasized that a person's true value lies in their essence, not their outward appearance. In Stoicism, physical beauty is seen as something fleeting and superficial, while character and wisdom are considered pillars of an admirable individual. Men who internalize this philosophy do not seek to impress with their appearance, but rather to inspire through the depth of their actions and words. This understanding leads to the importance of being emotionally accessible without giving up your own limits. High-value men know how to balance empathy with protecting their emotional energy. They are not available for every demand, but when present, they make the other person feel valued and understood. It's this careful dosage of attention that sparks awe and creates an irresistible desire for closeness. Creating memorable experiences is also essential in this process. Small gestures, such as remembering significant details or planning unique moments, show that a man is attentive to what really matters. These actions not only demonstrate consideration, but also reinforce the idea that the relationship goes beyond the superficial. This contrasts with relationships based solely on momentary attractions, which often lack depth and purpose. Additionally, high-value men recognize the importance of maintaining a balanced life focused on their own goals, which, paradoxically, makes them more attractive. By constantly seeking to grow and evolve, they create an environment of inspiration and motivation around them. This energy is contagious, generating a fascination that goes beyond what is visible to the eye. Finally, the emotional impact is lasting because it touches deep aspects of the human psyche. Women connect not only with what they see, but mainly with what they feel when being next to someone. This is the difference between a man who understands that, ultimately, it is his essence and not his appearance that will leave an unforgettable mark. This type of connection transforms casual encounters into something meaningful, ensuring that it is remembered not for how it looked, but for how it made others feel. Strategic validation. The impact of sincere recognition on attraction. One of the most powerful tools in attraction dynamics is validation. High-value men understand that genuine recognition is most effective when dosed strategically rather than offered indiscriminately. This understanding creates a profound emotional effect, as each gesture or word of validation acquires a more intense and lasting meaning. Validation is not just praise. It is a communication that confirms to the other person that they are seen, heard, and appreciated. When offered authentically, and without exaggeration, it creates an emotional impact that strengthens bonds. However, when used excessively or superficially, it loses its strength and can even generate indifference. The key is balance. High-value men praise less, but when they do, their words carry weight because they are delivered with authenticity and purpose. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, taught that we should act with intention and avoid excesses. This principle can be applied here. By recognizing a specific trait or gesture, a man demonstrates that he is truly attentive, that he observes the details and values what really matters. This differentiates strategic validation from mere formalities or generic praise, which often go unnoticed. Furthermore, rarity is an element that amplifies the emotional impact of validation. Something that is not offered all the time takes on special value when it occurs. Imagine someone who constantly offers praise without discretion. Their words lose their impact, becoming part of the background noise. On the other hand, when a man known for his reserve praises something in a sincere and specific way, that moment becomes memorable, leaving a deep impression on the other person. High-value men also understand that validation goes beyond words. Small gestures, like a look of approval or an action that shows support, can convey the same message even more powerfully. These silent expressions create a space where words can be replaced with actions that speak louder and more clearly. By practicing strategic validation, these men avoid falling into the trap of appearing needy or sycophantic. This reinforces their position as self-assured individuals who recognize the value of others without losing themselves in the process. This balanced stance generates respect, admiration, and often a desire for reciprocity, creating a positive cycle of interaction. Finally, the impact of well-applied validation is not just momentary. It reverberates, lingering in the mind and heart of the person who received it. Women remember not just what was said, but the unique feeling of being understood and valued in an authentic way. This type of validation is not only an attraction tool, but also a foundation for genuine, lasting connections. Balancing independence and connection. The art of being unforgettable. True attraction goes beyond mere appearance or the right words at the right time. High-value men know that to truly capture a woman's interest and maintain that interest, you have to balance your independence with the ability to create deep, meaningful connections. This balance is an art that requires practice, patience, and, above all, a strong understanding of yourself. Independence, in this context, does not mean being distant or disconnected from other people, but rather being someone who has a full life, with their own goals and passions. Men who have this independence are like magnets because they know that their value does not depend on anyone's approval. They do not give themselves uncontrollably into relationships or situations, but keep their own identity intact, which naturally attracts those around them. However, this behavior does not mean coldness or lack of interest. On the contrary, it is precisely this autonomy that creates a powerful attraction. This is because by prioritizing their own goals and dreams, they show that they have a rich and purposeful life, something that is deeply attractive. Women are not looking for someone who loses themselves in themselves or in situations, but someone who has the ability to remain firm on their path without giving up their identity. This concept finds strong support in Stoic teachings, which emphasize the importance of self-discipline and self-control. Stoics, such as Seneca and Epictetus, defended the idea that true freedom comes from being able to live according to your own values, without allowing yourself to be consumed by external expectations. Men who apply this philosophy in their everyday lives become irresistible because, instead of chasing validation or approval from others, they focus on living authentically, with balance and dignity. However, simply being independent is not enough. The real skill is in creating a genuine connection with the other person, without losing autonomy. This is where the second element of this balance comes in, the ability to be vulnerable, without losing inner strength. When a man is able to open up honestly and truthfully, he generates a deeper emotional connection. However, by doing this thoughtfully, without exposing himself too much or showing dependence, he maintains his power of attraction. This creates a subtle dance between giving and receiving, where both sides feel valued and respected. Men who balance their independence with the ability to create these connections are able to cultivate quality relationships. They know that to build something lasting, it is necessary to not only respect the other person, but also to respect themselves. This is reflected in their ability to maintain their autonomy and at the same time emotionally invest in interactions, creating bonds that are based on mutual respect, admiration, and support. Ultimately, the secret is knowing when to give space and when to be present. By maintaining a life of their own and a sense of direction, without closing themselves off to the possibilities of connection, high-value men become unforgettable. They know that time is a precious resource and, therefore, every moment of interaction is valued, both by them and by the women who are part of their lives. This subtle balance is what means that, when they are around, their presence is felt in an intense and positive way, creating a constant desire for closeness and complicity. So, have you ever heard about how high-value men attract women and make them obsessed? Did you know it existed? Share in the comments if you've been through this, or if you know the story of someone you know who has felt this way. I will help you in the comments. Now that you've gone through all the content, it's time to reflect. Are you ready to apply all of this to your life? What you learned today is more than just theory. They are principles that high-value men live by every day and that, if you put them into practice, will completely transform the way you relate to women. It's not about tricks or games, but about understanding what really sparks interest and genuine desire. If you become the man she wants, you will see that everything changes. You will no longer be the guy who stays in the shadows, waiting for the chance to be noticed. It will become one that women can't take their eyes off of. Remember the key phrase I shared with you. It is a clear example of how you can strategically stand out and make her want more of your presence. And most importantly, understand, the key is to be unpredictable, to be intriguing, to maintain the perfect balance between closeness and distance. When you do this consistently, it won't just be about physical attraction, but about genuine fascination that will intensify over time. Don't forget, high-value men aren't made overnight, but if you start now, putting into practice the steps we've discussed, you'll start to see immediate results. Every conversation, every interaction, every move you make can be a step towards becoming the man everyone wants, not just by appearance, but by your attitude, your behavior, your mindset. So, it's time to act. If you really want to change your love life, don't wait any longer. Act strategically, work on your mindset and presence, and women will start to see you in a completely new way. Thank you for watching this far. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue receiving the next content. Until the next video.